We're here at the ACITI ANZ Digitalisation and Trade Conference in 2025 in Docklands, and I'm joined by David, who's our keynote speaker, who's just come off stage before the break. David, great to talk to you. How are you?
Good, thank you, Lawrence. Yourself?
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Da- David, can I ask you to introduce yourself and your role at Microsoft?
So my name's David Baker. I'm the Chief Technology Officer responsible for Microsoft's relationship with ANZ Bank.
Fantastic. Now, the presentation you had was so interesting because it took people on a journey across right from 3000 BC, which I loved. I love the way that you put that analogies together around clay tablets right through to where we are right now and potentially where we're going. What are the key takeaways you'd love our viewers to see, to hear about when it comes to the journey of the technology on trade digitalisation?
So I think the thing that I learned during the journey was that we're seeing at this point in time with generative AI, the walls between the real world and the digital world breaking down. Generative AI will allow us to bring in data that's printed out on a document that's been handwritten, and we'll be able to digitize that seamlessly. And also on the back end, put out content to match that. And if you combine that with the history of trade finance, as I talked about, 3,000 years ago is the first evidence of clay tablets with bills of lading on them that enabled people to exchange them for funds. So we've been financing trade for a very long time, and we've built up a lot of structures. But the problem is that the global trade finance environment is so large, there are so many participants, we're not going to be able to digitise that instantaneously. So we need a flexible, agile system that will allow us to interact with digital systems and the traditional paper-based systems and be able to bring the paper in and out as necessary and as appropriate. So it's going to be a switch from where we've had these ad hoc, almost documented, but for this trade we need these documents, for that trade we need those ones, and we have to have them as paper and no one gets paid until they've been stamped, where we move into a digital realm where everything remains digital until it needs to become paper or until we bring paper into the digital realm. And this is going to make it a lot easier for us to deliver outcomes for customers. We're going to be able to accelerate the passage of trade. We're going to give greater consistency in the quality of goods by integrating IoT sensors and providing data there. So it's all about how do we bring the best of the digital world into this world of trade finance, which is hobbled by 5,000 years of history of how we've done it. And so many participants. There's 184 recognised countries by the UN. They all have their own regulation of trade. So to bring them all along and instantaneously switch is not going to happen. So we've got to go on a journey.
Yeah, and the journey is a great way. I think, David, that key word, because some of the stats you put up on the presentation, it's 5% of e-bills of lading, such a small take-up of digital documentation right now. So we are very much at the infancy or the start of the journey, aren't we?
Yeah, and I think that's the really critical thing for participants to look at is how do I make incremental change? Because I will argue that much like many other systematic changes, it's the first 20% that's going to take us the longest. Once we've got 20% of participants and 20% of the trade, everybody else starts looking at it going, hang on, I'm now a laggard.
Yeah.
And then they want to participate. But when it's only 3% or 5%, it's like, yeah, they're just the exceptions.
Yeah.
So we need to drive that adoption, not because it's necessarily going to be uniquely good for us and not because we're going to have end-to-end digital, but because we're going to get improvements, focus on those improvements and realise the more we improve, the more pressure it puts on the laggards in the system.
Yeah, I totally support that and agree. I think that FOMO part is where we really need to get all those countries, all the stakeholders, and as you said, David, there's multiple complex stakeholders right across countries and trade, agencies, all the whole range of players.
Yeah, 100%. So I think it's about people looking at what can they do, because, and as I mentioned in my speech, we overestimate what we can do in 2 years. We go in with these grand ideas, we're going to do this, this and this, but we underestimate how huge change will be over a 10-year period. You think about how your mobile phones changed over 10 years, how the car market has changed. 10 years ago there was one mad guy, Elon, making electric cars. Now they're a standard choice for everyone. So I think we're looking at another system that will get digitised. It's just a matter of how and when. And I think the winners are going to be the ones that are capable, have learnt on the journey. There's not going to be a dividend for sitting back going, we're going to do it the old way, and then we'll just buy in the technology. The ones that will make the difference will be the ones driving it and finding those new use cases.
Yeah, the real innovators. Well, David, you were fantastic. Thank you so much for you've set the tone for a fantastic conference. You had everyone on the edge of their seat, and it was informative, educational, funny. So thank you so much for setting the tone and having a great presentation.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Cheers.